There's been quite a bit in the media in Australia recently about the new change to the Fair Work Act, which gives employees the right to disconnect, which means that an employee can refuse to answer communication from other employees, from their manager, from customers or stakeholders outside of their normal working hours, provided that contact is unreasonable. And there's a few things that you can look at for your business in terms of how do you manage this new right. One of them is having a look at your policies, but more importantly, your practices. So at the moment, what kind of culture do you have? Do you regularly contact employees outside of work hours? And does that actually match your culture, the type of business that you are? If you're a traffic management company, a cybersecurity firm, if you're in healthcare, it would be expected that there might be 24/7 elements to your business and people within those areas that would need to respond to contact outside of normal hours. Whereas if you're in another business, which generally works Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, but you still have people emailing or sending Slack messages at 8 p.m, 9 p.m. at night, then that's something to have a look at. And that goes into education. So discussing this with your management team and saying, okay, how do we manage this as managers? How are we monitoring what's going on in the workplace? How are we making sure that people have manageable workloads? How are we respecting employees' time off? And really being attuned to things. If you have employees that say, I was up until 2:00 this morning doing that report, don't just ignore that. Don't just walk away. Think about, well, is that reasonable that they're up until 2 a.m? If you have someone taking a week of leave and they come back and they say, I had to work that entire week, again, don't ignore it. Why are they working that entire week? Don't celebrate it and go, isn't that great? That person worked through their leave. Let's have a look at why are they working through their leave? What's the problem there? So this is where it becomes much more of that cultural piece. You could also use technology. So in your emails, schedule them to go in normal hours. I know that with my email client, it sends me a message when I try and send an email outside of hours and it says, hey, this is outside of normal working hours. Do you want to schedule it? And I just say yes, because I know that people have emails on their phone. And even though I may not need them to respond, they're still potentially going to get that ding and that is going to interrupt them. So it's having a think about for your business, what type of business do you have? What's reasonable in terms of that out of hours contact? What kind of culture do you want to have? How do we enable that work-life balance for our employees? And how do we take any questions or concerns from our employees seriously if they feel that they are being contacted unreasonably? I talk about this much more in detail in episode 93 of the Find Grow Keep podcast. And I'd love to hear from you how you're managing this in your business. So just connect with me on LinkedIn or leave a comment below and we can start a conversation.